Latest news, I'm April Cummings. We begin with a quick check of the COVID-19 dashboard. Health officials report one new case of COVID-19 today, a traveler. This from the results of 651 PCR tests since Monday. There are 4 current cases of COVID-19 in the islands. There are no hospitalizations. The vaccination program reports 69% of the population with 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine and 64% fully vaccinated. No word yet on the National Security Council meeting set for today, a follow-up to last week where a series of measures targeting gun violence were announced. As we reported on RadioCayman last night, police continue to appeal to the public to come forward with any information in either of the 2 shootings, which left multiple people injured, 2 people dead. Crime Stoppers announced a reward of up to $50,000 yesterday for information leading to an arrest and conviction. The strategic policy statement is due for presentation in the House of Parliament tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. RadioCayman will be carrying the proceedings live on Breeze 105.3 FM. This is the first SPS for the new PACT government. We did hear some potential previews from Premier the Honourable Wayne Panton at last week's Chamber Legislative Luncheon. He touched on the vision of the new government, areas of focus including a review of COVID regulations and programs. The strategic policy statement provides economic and financial forecasts for the next 3 financial years, starting January 1st, 2022 to the 31st of December 2024. It also outlines government's broad policy outcomes, which will guide the development and implementation of government policy during this period. We are also expecting the presentation of a number of annual reports of ministries, as well as statutory authorities and government companies. Again, the strategic policy statement is scheduled for tomorrow at 10 a.m. You can listen to it live on Breeze 105.3 FM. Residents could soon be offered a digital record of their coronavirus vaccinations.
I don't know the exact timing right now, but that is imminent. We are going to be able to provide our own app-based QR code so that we can verify to other countries that our people have been vaccinated.
Speaking at the Chamber of Commerce Legislative Luncheon, Premier the Honourable Wayne Panton said the Cayman Islands can now read 2 QR codes from 2 states in America, California and Louisiana. He says there is a private sector-based move, a partnership between technology companies and those engaged in administering the vaccine.
Sounds to me it's moving quite fast, and it will soon get us, very soon get us to a point where we have QR codes that can be read by our systems here. In the same way that we could read the QR code from the NHS in the UK, and indeed, I think most or at least parts of Europe.
A QR scanner could be used to determine the vaccination details, name of the resident, and their birth date. The Premier unveiled the country's reopen strategy and plan, and Deputy Governor the Honourable France Manderson tells RadioCayman he felt the presentation was world-class.
Our civil service, our comms team was amazing. They spent many long hours putting this plan together, and then being able to put it in a format where everyone could easily see it, read it, and understand it.
Mr. Manderson says he looks forward to attending the luncheon each year, calling it a good time to establish a renewed partnership for parliamentarians and civil servants to get to know or to reconnect with the business community. DART's President of Business Development Jackie Doak makes the case for a national environmental management framework to provide clear guidance on how land can be developed, managed, and protected.
At DART, we believe that an environmental management framework would help balance the company's environmental, social, and economic interests by providing a clearer roadmap for sustainable development that aligns with the goals of existing and future legislation, such as the National Development Plan and the National Conservation Law.
Speaking at the legislative luncheon, Jackie Doak said the lack of clarity leads to uncertainty and has created unnecessary polarization in the community.
Our perspective is that the division seems more intense than it actually is, when ultimately the majority of the community is seeking the same broad outcomes of sustainable development for the Cayman Islands.
Mrs. Doak says while highly sensitive habitats in Cayman need to be protected, there is also land that could be developed to the benefit of the community.
A comprehensive environmental management framework informed by all stakeholders that reflects a shared vision for the future would provide clear guidance on how land can be developed, managed, and protected, and give much-needed certainty and clarity to both conservation groups and landowners.
Mrs. Doak wrapped up her presentation by adding that though the Dart Company has been financially impacted by the pandemic, it is committed to Cayman long-term and will continue to be an economic driver for the country in recessionary times. The Cayman Islands Airports Authority conducts a full-scale emergency exercise at Charles Kirkconnell International Airport today in Cayman Brac. CIA's Chief Safety Management Officer, Andrew McLaughlin.
It's a regulatory requirement of all airports every 2 years. Basically, we deploy all the emergency services. That would be starting with fire, police, emergency medical services, the hospital, Red Cross, any other support to test our response procedures in the event of an aircraft crash. We're simulating an aircraft that has gone down in the water off the shores of Cayman Brac. The fire department has responded with their rescue boat, and they have brought survivors to the shore at Scott's Dock in Cayman Brac. And the emergency medical services are now triaging and arranging for transport of victims to the hospital.
Again, this is a simulation to test resources. Hazard Management Cayman Islands and Travel Cayman were also on site to monitor the exercise, as they're meant to operate under full COVID-19 precautions.
All the emergency responders are doing a tremendous job. It's very hot. The heat is bearing down on us, and they're using their COVID precautions, but they're still doing an outstanding job. I'd like to give credit to all of them. The public should be very happy that these people do what they do, because we're ready for any type of emergency.
A larger scale exercise is planned for Grand Cayman towards the end of the summer. Cayman's first Art Week has come to an end, but the conversations continue as organizers discuss the various pop-up events, including Friday's Art in the City in central Georgetown. The art of dozens of local artists was set up at more than 20 spaces across all 3 Cayman Islands for Art Week.
There were so many highlights of the week, of course, starting on the Tuesday night with Calypso Grill's pop-up exhibition and going all the way through to the end of Saturday evening with the official after-hours party hosted by Notable Island and A-Ward Art Gallery.
Creative director Natalie Urquhart tells CIG-TV hundreds of people took advantage of the major event Art in the City, hosted by the Georgetown Revitalization Group. In Little Cayman and Cayman Brac, Art Week featured community murals, live Facebook feeds, and an open studio event.
It's been such an outpouring of creativity, and I hope that the public that have come out to support are inspired as all of us who were involved.
And as for the second Art Week?
We've been fielding so many questions about what's coming up next, when is this happening again. All of these creative venues remain open, and while Cayman Art Week is this 1-week celebration, it really is integral that we continue to support them throughout the next 12 months, while we build up the energy and increase our partnerships in order to make this an annual event.
Audio there courtesy of CIG-TV. That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.